Okay, all rise for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Alvarez.
Present.
Councilman Cypress.
Here.
Councilman Larka.
Here.
Councilman O'Connor.
Here.
Supervisor Hay.
Here. Notation exits in front and rear. An electronic device, please put it on vibrate. I make a motion to come out of the executive session. No action was taken.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. First item on the agenda this evening is a public hearing. It's a Galley petition, 40 Guinea Road, zoning map amendment R160 to R60. I waive the reading of the public hearing notice. Mr. Galley?
We need a second.
I'll second.
Oh, there's a second? Okay. You're on.
All right, so,
You may have to speak into the mic, unfortunately.
yeah. I'll do it.
So, yeah, you can move that.
That comes,
Bring it over. A little bit.
doesn't that mic
Yeah,
move?
that'll work for me.
Yeah,
It's okay. Just put the mic out a little bit, that'd be great. Thanks, sir. So this map shows the R160 zone in this grayscale area. The yellow area where the house and the property in question is located is in the R60 zone. What we would like to do is get the property rezoned to the R60 zone to match the rest of the neighborhood. And in doing that, after the zone change would take place, we would look for a subdivision. On the other side of the map, we have the plans for subdivision. There's a single-family house here. As it stands now, this whole property is just one piece, okay, in the middle of a neighborhood which is R60 zone, and it's almost out of place the way it is. The way that we've designed it, with the help of Insight Engineering, it matches the neighborhood very nicely, and actually the lot sizes are larger lots than what's required in the R60 zone. So the R60 zone is 1.35 or 1.5 acres. These lots here, this is 2.16, this is 1.98, and the existing house is going to stay on a 3-acre lot by itself.
So one big lot, you're going to keep one of the houses and 2 additional lots to be made?
That's correct. That's correct, yep. Furthermore, the driveway that serviced the main house here used to be on Guinea Road. We went through the process to get the driveway moved onto Pineview Drive, actually, and closed the original entrance to this property. The new entrance is now on a side street, which is Pineview Drive. So, in effect, the 2 additional lots would only be really adding 1 additional driveway for the whole project from the original state that it was.
Has the highway department looked at the new cuts for the driveways and approved those?
I believe they have.
Was that part of your process initially or no?
Yeah, Insight took care of all of the line of sight issues, the locations of the driveways, and as far as I know, there shouldn't be any issue. There's this particular lot has, I don't know what the exact amount of frontage is, but it's in excess of 200, 300 feet, maybe even more.
Okay.
But at this point, both of you, I mean, we're only talking about the rezoning. He'll need subdivision
Yes,
and full
yeah,
site plan
yes.
approval with the planning board, so.
Yeah, in the R60 zone, if it were to be rezoned, the property could support more than what the subdivision is actually asking for. We've put a letter in that says that we are going to limit ourselves to only this, which are larger lots and, could support larger houses and not have it as chopped up as the zoning allows. I think it's just a better fit. It just matches nicely rather than trying to squeeze another one in there, even though the zoning could probably allow it.
May I ask
Okay.
a question? You indicated that the property is currently surrounded by R60?
Yes, it is. The way the property stands, it's actually an island by itself. It's a little bit odd. So it seems like I was forgotten about. So all of this is Guinea Road.
Yeah.
This is Pine View Drive.
Yeah.
My new driveway is here on Pine View Drive. Okay. All this further north is also R60. The R160, it looks to me like it may have been part of this Glicken House development, you know, large plots of land. You know, I'm not saying that they own this property, but it seemed like I fell into this zone somehow and was not changed over. My neighborhood, because there are no roads on this side because that big development is there, and I understand that everything behind us here is green space and probably will remain green space. What we're trying to do is actually making it better and conform to the neighborhood.
Answer your question, Will?
Yeah, it's just, I'm a little bit
So the yellow,
unclear.
the yellow is R60, right?
Yes.
And the red
This is
box, that's his property.
The property in
So it's
question.
got R60 above him, below him, and to the
Where's the
west.
R160?
Yeah.
R160 is,
So you do abut the R160?
yes, we do abut the R160, but there are no roads that could service that side of the property.
So you're the only R160 on Guinea Road.
Correct. And Pine View Drive.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's confusing because it's like it's an anomaly. Like basically, it's almost an island by itself. It should have been zoned way back when, just wasn't. So we're trying to make it conform actually to the rest of the neighborhood.
Well, I think way back when, what the town was trying to do was upzone to minimize development, or downzone, depending on how you look at it.
Right.
And I don't know whether this was a conscious decision at the time to include that particular lot because it was undeveloped and larger.
Right.
That it was appended to the 160 zone. That's my guess.
The house, the single family house that's on the property has been there since the 50s. And it's not an oversized home. It's you know, it's normal.
Is that the Didio residence?
No, not the Dio, no. It was, I don't know, before me was, what was his name? DePetro, actually, was the name. I don't know if anybody remembers.
Okay. Anyone from the public would comment? Okay, seeing no comment, I'm not gonna, should we extend the public hearing for like 5 days for public comment? But at this point in time, I don't see a need for it, but
I would just
I'll make a-
close,
I'll
I'll
make
make
a
a motion to
motion.
close the hearing.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Appreciate it.
Our next meeting is on the 28th. Mr. Galley? This will come up on the 28th meeting for the town board. Good luck. Okay. Second public hearing is the Chapter 38, Article 10, Section 138-56-1, Special Permits and Conditional Uses. Please take notice that the Town Board of the Town of Southeast shall hold a public hearing on July 14, 2022 at the Southeast Town Hall, 1360 Route 22, Brewster, New York, at 7 p.m. or as soon thereafter as interested parties may be heard pursuant to municipal home rule law to consider proposed local law which, if adopted, would amend Chapter 138 of the Town Code zoning, Article 10, Special Permits and Conditional Uses, Section 138-56.1, Paragraph A, to provide that accessory apartments established in commercial or mixed-use zoning districts are not required to be owner-occupied. All persons having an interest in the foregoing matter be given an opportunity to be heard at this time. I make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, this first came about, believe it or not, came from the town itself. We inherited or was donated a building on 2366 on Route 6 heading toward Carmel. This would affect the area basically from the Putnam County Savings Bank to the bridge leading toward Route 6, and there's, right at the end of it, there's like a hairdresser with an apartment, and there's very few houses on that road, but some of them already have this mixed use, and this would bring it into compliance. And again, it was ours. We have now since sold the property in the past month, but the use that we had proposed at that time is still in effect, and that's why this is here this evening. Now, after we put it forward, another individual came forward with a similar request, and I think there's 2 other properties out there would benefit by this change.
My only question, Tony, is, I spoke to a planning board member and they mentioned that it was only in one specific zone, but the way I read the local law, it applies to any commercial or mixed zone.
Yes. It's been a mixed use on that whole zone.
Well, no, but this reads any commercial, any mixed zone.
Any commercial zone that allows for residential use.
And that's only that zone?
Well, I can't answer that question off the top of my head, but it is a relatively limited mixed-use zone.
Okay. Before, I mean, I know we're not voting tonight's public hearing, but before we vote, I'd like to confirm how.
Does it
how
affect
much
any
this-
other?
yeah,
I don't
how
believe it
much
does.
this
It was only
affects.
intended for that section.
Okay.
So if it has to,
I wonder if we just list the zone then.
well,
So if
actually,
a zone were to change, it wouldn't pick this up in it.
well, we'll find that out. When it's, the zone, again, I mentioned was pretty much from Putnam County Savings Bank to the bridge there. And it wasn't intended, because this was special zone. Is it not identified here?
Well, remember, we recently just
We did
did
it.
some zoning changes there. That's unrelated to this. That's why I just want to make sure it's only that zone.
It
or
is.
At least I know what
Oh,
it is we're talking
Well, that's
about.
not necessarily true, because there are, like on the SR 22 zone, you're allowed to have accessory apartments.
Right.
And with the.
But I think there's a-
Pursuant to special permit. And if a special permit, what this is saying is that, what the special permit sections, Article 10 says, that is, if you have an accessory apartment, it's got to be,
Owner occupied.
the property's got to be owner occupied. And when you have a commercial building that is, I think what they're saying is that when you have a commercial building that has an accessory apartment, there's no owner that's occupying that apartment.
Right, yeah, it seems that there's planning board members that think it's only that section of town, and clearly Tony thinks it's only
I
that
don't,
section of town.
that's not the
so-
way it's written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's written to amend the special permit section.
Can this be changed to just affect one zone or impact one zone?
Are you asking constitutionally? Or, I mean, you can certainly write it any way you want it,
Okay.
but it's not to say that it couldn't be challenged at some point in the future.
Okay.
Any other questions on the board? Find out, we'll let you know.
Okay.
Public? Okay, on this one, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing, but take written comments for the next 10 days.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll find out. Okay, next is a presentation, New York State Electric and Gas, Dylan Mayoshi, installation of AMI smart meters. Welcome.
Great, thank you. Is it easier to stand
Yes,
here?
sure.
So, good evening, everyone. Thanks for letting me come talk to you today. For those who don't know me, my name is Dylan Miyoshi. I'm the local government and community relations person here in the Brewster Division for NYSEG. So what I'm here talking about is AMI, or known as smart meters. Hopefully you can see most of this.
You have to
So
come,
now-
you have to move it forward or backward, which way you have to go? Do you bring it forward, does it make it smaller? Which way does it work? No, go forward. No, move the table, he wants to move the table, I'm saying. Yeah, we can move the table more if you need it. That's better.
So back in our previous rate case that was negotiated with the New York State Public Service Commission, we received funds to do a capital project at the request of multiple supervisors within the Brewster Division to convert our current analog meters into AMI smart meters. And so what is a smart meter? So a smart meter is essentially bringing us up to the 21st century in utility technology. This is something that has been a proven concept nationwide. Our other company, our other avant-grid company, Central Maine Power, has already implemented this. Other utilities such as Con Ed have implemented this down in Westchester. So for here in the NYSEG Brewster Division, we're looking to begin in early 2023. And that's going to encompass Dutchess, Putnam, and Westchester counties. So we're going to do this in 4 phases. So we're going to do the north phase, then the east phase, the south phase, and the west phase. So southeast, they'll fall under the east phase and just the east phase. And that both for gas and electric, because I know quite a few customers have gas here in southeast. So what people can expect when these installations occur, based on our previous experience from other companies and things like that. One of our top priorities, unfortunately, there are people who just try to take advantage of the elderly community once the public is made aware of these type of projects. So any person will be wearing a shirt very similar to the one I am wearing this evening. They'll be carrying a NYSEG ID, and they'll have a NYSEG logo on their car to ensure no confusion for any residents that may get a knock on their door from one of our people.
Now, there's no need for entry into the home though, is there?
If a meter is located in the home, then yes, which is
Rare?
mostly upstate. That tends to be the case. Like in Rochester, that's a big concept, but down here, it shouldn't be.
Okay. Never heard.
So for people who are getting their gas meter upgraded, there will be no service interruption with their gas. And for people who are getting their electric meter replaced, there'll be about a 10-minute service interruption. And the reason that is just the person has to take out the meter and reinstall the meter. We're hoping it'll be less than 10 minutes, but just for the sake of argument, we're letting our customers know it'll take up to 10 minutes. And for residents in Southeast, we'll be doing gas and electric at the same time. So they'll be getting both meters replaced at the same time. So we'll be doing this mostly during the workday from Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. We are going to do Saturdays hours, typically mostly for large commercial customers to not interrupt their businesses and their operations. And then we just ask our customers, once they know that this is coming, that they make sure there's no brush around their meters and things like that, just to make it easier for our technicians to get in and out quickly. So having an electric meter replaced in the interruption. So the key thing for the interruption is for any life support equipment customer or any person who may have an oxygen tank or whatever their case may be, we're going to work with them. We're going to make sure there is contact before any meter is removed in order to ensure that they have all the equipment they need and they have a game plan. And so we do have a dedicated team working on those specific customers. We're also planning on working with the public. Work from home's a new normal now, and so if someone we knock on the door and someone comes and says, hey, I have a conference call and it takes 15, I got 15 more minutes on this conference call, can you wait? Yeah, we'll go to the neighbor's house and we'll work with them on that. And then, as I said, for the larger commercial customers, we'll attempt to schedule appointments as needed to make sure their businesses aren't impacted. Any customer that wants to know more information, they could go to nyseg.com/smartmeters, and a lot of this information is already up on that website.
Dylan, is there any warning before a guy knocks on your door?
Great question. knew I forgot something on this slide. I was looking at that. Great question. So the process on how how we're planning on doing this is, so about 3 weeks out prior to being within a municipality, we are going to mail postcards to the customers to inform them that we will be, coming and replacing their meter with a smart meter. The day of, our technician will knock on the door and say, "Hey, I'm here to replace your meter." And so if no one is home, we'll just replace that meter. You won't even know if you're out at work. You'll come back and you'll see a door hanger saying, "Hey, your new meter's been installed." As I said, if someone is working from home and they have an issue that they need a couple minutes or so to kind of get themselves in a good, safe workspace, we'll work with them and go to the next house and then come back and that type
But
of
you
scenario.
don't know that it's tomorrow or next week or anything like that, right?
We're gonna try to drill down a little bit more. So once the postcards go out, I know my plan is I'll reach out to Supervisor Hay and I'll say, "Hey, these postcards went out to the town of Southeast residents. Can you put it on the town Facebook and things like that, just so then people are aware." I don't think we're going to be able to get down to the street level and say, "Hey, Main Street's getting replaced on Tuesday," just because we're going to have a lot of technicians and contractors doing this with us.
How many do a crew, like if you do a particular road and there's 30 houses? I mean, are you gonna have like one person do the whole street, it's gonna take the day, or what's the plan?
So we typically do 2 in a car. We're back to 2 people in a car since we're hopefully kind of over the hill on COVID here. So there'll be 2 people in the car, kind of one driving, one being able to hop out, and they can switch back and forth. So we expect each phase to last about a month to 2 months for all the municipalities. So over that course of the month, 2 months, Southeast will be taken care of. So like I guesstimate, kind of the March, April range.
Now, if the power's cut to a home and a person's not at home, is there any chance that something could go wrong and the power doesn't go back inside the house? They make it power, but through a breaker? Because again, a person's home, they may be on vacation for 2 weeks, they come home, the refrigerator has been off because of the disconnect at the time. I don't know if that's possible.
Well, so that is the nice part about smart meters, and I'll talk about it a little bit more in depth. But typically, so right now, as the technology exists of what is at your home currently, when there is a power outage, we cannot see if your individualized house has power or not. We can only see if your street has power.
Okay.
And so once these smart meters are installed, the technician's going to make sure it's running. And then I'll talk about it in a second, but our network is actually able to ping every 15 minutes, real-time data to our Binghamton command center. So if a meter is not running, that'll register in our system, and then a technician would be able to go out and see why that meter is not running. So it allows us to go down to the individualized home level. So it'll prevent, typically, I'm not sure if anybody here during a storm, power comes back up and, our website says Main Street's back up, but you live on Main Street and your house doesn't have power, and you're calling us and saying, "Hey, why is this saying it's fixed and I'm still sitting here in the dark?" So that's
Tony, was your question that whether the meter works or if it like tripped the main and there was
Trip,
no draw?
yeah,
Would you be able to make sure there's like a draw coming from the house before you leave?
Yeah,
well, so it would start producing the number immediately as soon as the meter's in. It'll start going through the kilowattage, and our technician will make sure everything works beforehand. And then if someone is not home, they'll have that door hanger, and if they come home and something is wrong, God forbid, they can call us, and we'll work with them.
Replace any spoiled food if it gets spoiled.
I would buy
Are
some
there,
tomahawks.
Are there any concerns or anything done differently for people that have automatic generators with ATSs?
No, so this will not affect generators, this transfer over.
The same vein, what about if you have solar?
It should work exactly like your current meter does. It'll just be essentially a plug and play. It's just updating the actual meter. So anything that's connected, whether solar or whatever, it'll just plug right back in.
why wouldn't it trip the generator? That's his question.
So I've had that question. I asked it, and they told me no. I'm not the technical expert, so please forgive me. But my understanding is the way that kind of gets paired in, our technician would just re-hook the generator in to the meter.
So,
why
yeah,
would-
but
No,
what's
but
gonna
what-
happen is,
Yeah.
so when they take the power offline,
Hmm.
my ATS is gonna transfer me over to generator while he's doing the meter install.
Correct.
Right.
So, as I said, I can find out for you, but my operations team told me that generators wouldn't be affected at all.
No,
during
I'm not
their
saying they're
switch,
being
yeah.
affected, it's gonna come on, but it's not, the concern, I'm just saying like, cause if you're gonna shut off a customer to, take the pole off and redo the meter, that house is without power for 10 minutes. As soon as my generator notices a loss of power, it's gonna kick off.
And when the power gets turned back on by your person, it should shut
Yeah,
off.
then it comes off.
Shouldn't necessarily be a problem. I
Yeah.
was just surprised by the answer.
We just want to make sure that we.
Yeah,
touch base.
I'll double confirm and I'll let you know tomorrow, Supervisor.
Okay.
If you hook up your switch right, you want electric.
Well, yeah.
So,
it's not
so,
gonna feed the system.
so this is something that you may have noticed has started in parts of our division to go up and will continue to go up during this fall. So this is, our wireless mesh system that'll be able to, as I said, ping the meters every 15 minutes. And so these are starting to get installed this summer into the fall, so that our system's ready to go when we start installing the smart meters.
When you're fully up and running, there's no more meter readers. That's a.
Yep. So the key benefit of smart meters is will essentially fully eliminate any sort of estimated bill reading, because these ping every 15 minutes. So when your bill is generated, you are getting whatever that official number is every month. And we are pairing smart meters this fall. We are kind of unveiling our updated billing system that we use in Maine to pair with AMI, which is going to be great. And
Is the rate you pay locked in per month, or is it changing as the rates change? How often do the rates change? That's my
So are you speaking about the delivery rate or the commodity price?
The commodity price.
So the commodity price is based on market factors. So whatever your current market factor is, that's why there was.
If you get your meter read every month, you would pay for the usage in that month, whatever that rate was.
Right, the average for those 30 days of your billing cycle.
Oh, you pay the average, the rate is the average.
Yeah.
So now is that gonna be the same, or is it gonna be like if you use a lot of electricity today and the commodity's high, it's gonna be?
No,
much
so that stays the same, because currently, like, if your bill is from the 1st to the 30th, we take the average, because that changes daily, and that's through New York ISO, and that's the marketplace where NYSEG gets its supply. So that is, one day it might be 12 cents, another day it might be 2 cents. So we
Right.
take the average of those 30 days, and that's what the customer pays.
Okay, thank you.
But theoretically, they could do what you're saying
Yeah,
eventually.
yeah, that wouldn't be good.
So this also gets rid of customer reads, because currently people who don't want to deal with estimated bill reads, they can submit their customer reads to us to provide an accurate billing. Smart meters will take care of that. And as I mentioned, it'll give us faster outage response, because if Main Street's out of power, we can see a certain amount of houses on Main Street are out of power while the rest are still generating power, and we can see where that tree landed on the line, which gets our crews there faster and get your power up quicker.
Can these be disconnected remotely? That last point on there was about moving.
So these do have the ability, so if you move in to a house and you call and you make your payment to NYSEG, we can turn on your power. They don't have to wait for a technician. Same thing with moving out. We do have that ability, if you are, hey, we're moving out on the 31st, instead of us having to send a technician, we're able to shut it off for you and be good to go. So another benefit is we're going to have an energy manager tool that will be on our NYSEG app and website. So under your account, you're able to go in and see. So I know that chart's not the easiest to look at, but the bars are essentially like the temperature of daily temperature, and the lines are the kilowatt usage. So when the temperature is low, you probably see a spike in energy simply because you're turning on your heat. And the example I've been using is, people run their pool pumps during the summer. And so, they might see and look at their usage, and instead of running their pool pump for 6 hours, they run it for 4 hours. And, that gives them the opportunity to kind of take a hands-on approach to their energy usage. And as I said, we're trying to give as much knowledge to the customer as possible, and give them the ability to make decisions regarding their power to the best of their ability, and kind of figure out, when is there spikes in energy, and, may turn it up the heat a little bit, or, lowering the AC depending on the circumstance. So right now we're in the official elected official outreach and municipality outreach section of our outreach plan. This fall, we're going to be doing open houses. So this fall, we're going to be doing one in each county, and we're going to do open houses with the poster boards kind of exactly like that picture. And we're going to have technical experts at stations where people can go and ask questions and, learn a little bit more about this. And we're going to do one in each county. And when we lock those in with our team from Mower that we are working with, we'll make sure the supervisor has the information to pass along to everybody. Same thing with events. This time of year is great because it's all the town community days. It's the fall festivals, things like that. So our contractor team at Mower is helping us set up booths around these community events. They may or may not have reached out here, I'm not sure. And we're looking to, kind of have those community day tents where people can walk up, ask questions, and we can provide them information. So with that, I'll jump to questions, and I'll start with, I know the supervisor sent a question from a resident that reached out.
May you mind if I share that with the public as well?
Oh, of course.
Since it's okay, so I have a resident by the name of Kevin Adore from Brewster. Dear Supervisor, hey, I see the representative of New York State Electric Gas is speaking at tomorrow's meeting regarding smart meters. I respectfully request that you inquire with Mr. Miyoshi about the residents' right to refuse the meters and what fee, if any, they would attempt to charge for such.
Yep. So there will be, so there is the opportunity for people to opt out of this if they'd like to. That is their choice. However, that will come with a $13.47 a month charge. And I know the resident brought up a previous Central Hudson case regarding extra fees and things like that. The difference is Central Hudson's network is not AMI. That is, they use a mesh network that still requires technicians and labor to go around and check meters. Our system would be entirely done wirelessly, and as part of our capital program, this is something that was agreed to by the Public Service Commission, so that fee will stay in place.
Okay, and it's
$47
per month.
per month.
Extra
correct.
because they don't go wireless, or wireless, whatever.
Correct, yep.
Is there any cost savings because of your operating and maintenance cost savings that gets passed along?
So right now, we just in May of this year, we submitted a request to the Public Service Commission because our 3-year rate case is up. So that's something that is getting negotiated over the course of the next 11 months. So I don't know that answer right now while it's getting negotiated.
Will this affect time of use meters? I assume all meters will be replaced with this?
So every meter will be replaced with this. Whichever meter you have in your home, whether it's like a standardized meter or a day-night meter, that tool will still be within the AMI smart meter, but the AMI smart meter will be the actual, brick and mortar technology.
Got it.
Why would a customer want to opt out?
Their fear of radiation or.
Yeah, so
Whatsoever.
there are people who have beliefs that we as a company do not agree, and factually we believe do not back up their claims. Basically, people are concerned about radiation and things like that, and you know, they pair it with 5G network and things like that. But however, you know, it's been proven with these meters, you'd have to stand next to this meter for about 6 hours to replicate the amount for one cell phone call of radiation.
And you're gonna put your mesh router on their pole in front of their house anyway, so.
For Central Maine Power, I believe we had about a 2% opt-out statewide there.
That's
So,
more than I would think.
you know, so
Is
we want to give our customers freedom of choice. That is their decision, but they do have to understand there is a cost
And
associated.
the 1347 is basically because you need to keep a meter reader to visit the house.
Yeah. Transportation.
Yep.
Is your mesh network is not 5G though, right?
No, so that does not pair off of any cell tower, so that's not going to cause any drop of coverage or anything in an area. This is an internal mesh network. I am waiting to hear back from my team of the exact frequency, but I could let you know.
It's okay.
Now, do you ever post it anywhere about the, he sent that ruling on Central Hudson? Do you have something like that on your site that will answer that question for anyone that might ask it? It doesn't affect you?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I believe we talk about the fee on the NYSEG.com/smart meters. I'd have to go back and check.
I would just suggest that you do it because there are people out there that have this, like you said, it's 2%. So those 2% say, if you choose not to, it is 1346 and has no bearing on the ruling above.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can certainly bring that back because I know we mentioned the opt-out fee on that site. I just don't know what the exact.
I had not heard of it until he sent it to us
Yeah.
yesterday. Thank you.
Can we get a copy of this presentation?
So once I go through all the municipalities, absolutely. I just have to go through each town in the area first, just before
Okay.
you know it gets public.
And what did you say the start date was for estimated for Southeast?
I guesstimate about probably March because each phase I'm saying is about 1 to 2 months to do, and you guys are in the second phase, so I'd say around March would be my guesstimate, pending storms and things like that.
Okay, thank you.
You almost done?
I'm good.
You're good.
If you guys are good, I'm good.
Well, one, I deal with you quite often. As you know, I have many people call us about issues with NYSEC. We had a representative here that lived in our town, was John Dunford. Then it handed off to Kathleen Abels. Then after Kathleen and John left, and Kathleen was, not that John wasn't, I didn't deal with John because I wasn't here, but Kathleen was here as a representative when I was here. And I thought after Kathleen, I said, boy, she's local. I can call her at any time. And unfortunately for us, Aziz, who you came in afterwards, have really done a great job.
Well, thank you.
I wish I could say the same for some of the other vendors we deal with, like the major ones. We have a couple of problems, I think, with a few that, you know, they respond, but they just don't give us the effort that you have put forward. But I do have a complaint, so
Okay.
you can close one ear, but I want you to hear this and go back to your people. We have some issues here in this town, especially with a lot of businesses, like my old store at Route 6. They waited almost 9 months. Now, some of it was his fault, I found out, but a lot was the fault of NYSEC. And we have a gas station down the road here who's been waiting for gas. I sent that to you about 3 weeks ago. We still haven't heard a word. I don't know what takes so long, but it's really wrong for them to take that long with it. There's something wrong with the system. And it's mostly commercial. I don't hear anything from the residents, but I hear a lot from the commercial, and they need it more than anyone. I mean, this poor guy down the road's been waiting a long time, but he's been waiting for this gas. I've had the planning board chairman contact me. The owner has contacted me a couple times. Can you put a fire on there, maybe light a match to the gas that they're bringing to us?
I will follow up with them, and you know, I do apologize for the delay.
Well,
I was on vacation, so I apologize.
I'm always apologizing too. We apologize for things beyond our control, but please, see what you can do.
Yeah, I'll follow up with them and reach out to you tomorrow.
Thank you. Appreciate your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we can continue to move on. Okay, There's nothing on the work session this evening, so I'll make a motion to go into the regular meeting portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
First one is a resolution bond establishment, Lincoln Logistics. Now therefore be resolved that the bond amount shall be established for the project set forth below. Project name, Lincoln Logistics Site Plan Site Improvements, $26,066,100. Erosion and sediment control, $1,403,400. And be further resolved that there shall be no further site disturbance of the subject premises, and no building permit shall be issued until the erosion and sediment control bond in proper form and amount is posted with the town clerk and associated inspection fees are paid to the town. And be further resolved that a certified copy of this resolution shall be transmitted to the town clerk to the applicant, planning board secretary, and building inspector forthwith. So move for discussion.
Second.
Now, this is a project out on Fields Corner that's been out there for quite some time now. It's been known as Campus of Fields Corner, numerous names. It is now considered Lincoln Logistics. It was second for discussion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 2, bond establishment, Lincoln Logistics, public improvements. Now therefore be resolved that the bond amount shall be established for the project set forth below. Project name, Lincoln Logistics, Brewster Public Improvements, public improvements, $3,028,300. Erosion sediment control, $206,510. And be further resolved that there shall be no further site disturbance of the subject premises, Pugsley Road and budding area, and no highway work permits issued until the requisite public improvement bond and erosion and sediment control bond, both in proper form and amount, are posted with the town clerk and inspection fees paid. And be further resolved that a certified copy of this resolution shall be transmitted by the town clerk to the applicant, planning board secretary, building inspector, and highway inspector forthwith. And this bond in particular is for road improvements. So, is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 3, resolution to support the application of the Southeast Cultural Arts Coalition, Southeast Old Town Hall Preservation, building envelope, and entry stair. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Southeast hereby endorses and supports the application of the town of Southeast Cultural Arts Coalition for grants under the Environmental Protection Fund for the following historic preservation projects: Southeast Old Town Hall restoration, building envelope. And along with that comes 2 letters, one being sent to the Executive Director, Mid-Hudson Regional Economic Development Council, and another letter to the Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation. We did this similarly last year, and this is upgraded to this year.
Does our support just potentially help them be successful in getting the grants, or do we need to support it? Just
No,
curious.
we don't have to support it, but if we do support it, we've been trying to get this going for a long, long
Yeah,
time.
no, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I'm just, you think that gives them a better chance of getting it?
I don't know if it gives them a better chance, but it has to help.
You have to have it, otherwise you can't really apply.
Okay.
Because we own the property.
Okay, discussion? Was there a second?
No.
I'll second.
Second, okay, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Elena, for getting that all done.
Thank you.
Okay, next is a motion to set a public hearing for a special permit for sawmill wood processing for Thursday, July 28th. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Public comment? Town board comment? Edwin and board, I understand the fireworks went very well this year.
Yes.
I guess the only thing is getting out is a little bit
Yes,
lengthy, but
that needs to be.
you go to any event, either you leave in the 7th inning of a game, or if you wait for the end of the fireworks, there's some fireworks getting out, but that's normal.
You just need to plan
Yep.
to sit and relax.
Yep.
But yeah, I thought it went really well. It looked like everybody had a ton of fun. A lot of people hanging out by the DJ, dancing. It was really good.
I wish we could have charged NYSEG for a booth. Share that information.
Any other comment? Okay.
No comment.
Seeing none, I entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we close tonight's meeting.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all for coming.